Hello and welcome to the Boost Over Ball podcast, your go-to place for everything Rocket League with your hosts, K-Cube, AJ Binky, and Red. So lean forward, lock in, and get ready to go Boost Over Ball.
Okay, well,
Wait, how do I? Can I ask a quick question before we start this? Not really ask a quick question.
We're live.
I need to do. Oh well, hello everyone. I need to get the extension to get this dark mode. I'm being blinded by docs.
That's fine.
Get add-ons. Dark mode. Dark mode.
Darku mode.
Nothing came up. Well then, this has gone horribly.
What are you talking about? It's right here.
I can't figure it out. Dude, everything on this new PC is like completely different. Couldn't Quilly saying my email account doesn't exist now?
There. No, I sent it to you.
What? Oh, I'm trying to log into my other account, but it's just not working now.
I just sent you the Chrome extension.
It won't let me log into my Google account.
Hey, Alyssa.
Hi, Alyssa. Add to Opera. Add extension.
Oh, you're on Opera.
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of the reason.
Wait, I added it. Now what? Did I win? Did I win? How do I delete all these? Clear. Extensions, add-ons, add script. Okay, it's not letting me. All right. Well, I guess I just go blind. Oh wait, that didn't work. All right, it didn't help. All right, I guess I just get blinded for the episode.
Just use Chrome like a normal person.
Never.
Oh my god.
It's what the government wants you to use.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, you're okay with being blinded? We're good to go?
And I don't have much of a choice at this point. We live and die with it.
Is there not?
I want to know why my iCloud isn't working, or my Google. It's saying couldn't find Google. I'm sorry, I forgot this email just didn't exist. I'm getting angry. Or one could say I'm getting hangry.
It do be like that sometimes.
It do. Let's just move on. Hopefully I'll forget about it.
Okay. Well, without further ado, hello and welcome back to the Boost Over Ball podcast. To listeners new and old, hello and welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Kyle, K-Cube, here in the top left. And in the bottom right, I pointed the right way this time, we got Quilly Manili. How's it going?
So proud of you. It took 160 episodes. Woo! I'm sure you've gotten it right before, but
I don't know if I've gotten it right, because I was like, that way. I had to look for a second. I even just pointed the wrong way, trying to reenact pointing the right way. So here we go. But today we'll be discussing the last chance qualifiers. SAM and NA have both completed their LCQ, and EU is now underway. We will discuss the two teams headed to Lyon from SAM and from NA, how they punched their tickets, the run that they had. Then we will talk about the top 16 teams vying for the last EU spot in Lyon, all before finishing off with Quilly and I's collective EWC prediction spreadsheet that was posted earlier today. So without further ado, you ready to jump into some SAM?
Yes, sir.
So the first thing I'd like to mention, because I watched all of the SAM and all of the NA. I mean, once we hit top 16, I watched as much of it as I could, right, with watch parties and stuff like that. But it's very interesting to see these games played with no top 4 teams in NA and no top 2 teams in SAM. Right? It almost seemed, I don't know if sloppy is the right word, but inconsistent, but also maybe that's part of the reason that some of these teams are even in the LCQ to begin with. What do you think?
You're talking about the SAM region specifically?
Just in general, right? Of LCQ in general.
Yeah, because I will say I didn't watch Mina or Sam much. I'm busy.
I think Mina
busy
was
boy.
the most competitive one that I've seen so far, like through and through.
Mm. Yeah. Well, like I said, I didn't even see it. I didn't have time for those ones, but I will say through what I saw with NA, it definitely looked like that. It felt more. It felt closer to CRL than it did to RLCS. Is the way I describe it, or maybe early rounds, like when you're getting the random matchups. Because usually when I start tuning into like the opens, that's when teams. That's when it's like dwindling down to like bubble teams and like teams that could like maybe get last seed going against all the top seeds. So I'm used to seeing these teams get dominated. Now it's just bubble team versus bubble team, lower seed versus lower seed. So definitely felt like a little bit of a drop off in ability, but obviously we had some players step up and make a name for themselves. And I think this is obviously the best opportunity for them because players, as we're probably going to talk about, like Mech, who absolutely shined. It's because he's not going against Daniel. He's not going against Beast Mode. He's not going against First Killer. He's not getting demoed 5,000 times by Kofer. It's just his opportunity with people at his ability or lower.
Yeah, for sure. With that, I mean, and I'm sure we're going to talk much more about the NA LCQ than we will for Sam, but, you know, we talked in the last episode that we recorded about 2 weeks ago. Sorry about the week off, everybody, but what?
I got the dark mode.
Yes, let's go. But we'll talk about the teams. We knew our top 16 as of 2 weeks ago for Sam, but now we know the teams that have made the top 8 and that have won. So the teams that made the top 8 through the upper bracket are Amethyst, TBS Esports, Corinthians, and Overlooked. And through the lower bracket, we have Moonrise, Shinden, Godfidence, and Sunset. So, you know, kind of what we expected. I think we both kind of, Red included kind of Godfidence, Amethyst, Corinthians, and then a Sunset or Moonrise were kind of what we expected for our, kind of our top 4 LCQ teams. And, really we kind of thought it would come down to Godfidence and Corinthians, and a little bit of a spoilers, but we were correct. Our top 4 of Corinthians versus TBS Esports, Corinthians won 4-1, and Amethyst and Godfidence, which was a fantastic series. That one went to game 7 overtime, with Game 6 and Game 7 both going the way of Godfidence, both in overtime. So definitely a great showing from Godfidence to force, Game 6 and to force Game 7 and then to win in overtime. And that set up a little bit of a rematch. We saw, we've seen these two teams play before. And Corinthians are able to take down Godfidence 4-2. It never, like, they were all pretty low scoring games. After game 2, it was a 3-0 and a 4-1, and then 2-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. So I don't know. I can't tell you the last time that I've seen an RLCS caliber, best of 7 series have 3 games that were all 1-0 wins. That kind of a defensive masterclass type of series, which is not really what you normally see in Sam.
Yeah, as mentioned before, I'm not too well versed in Sam, but obviously we know some of the top teams. I was watching, but yeah, that is a crazy outing. I will say I did see some of that out of Carl this weekend, but we'll talk more about that. But yeah, definitely low scoring, defensive. I also think a lot of it is the nerves because it's literally lose or go home. So the last thing you want to do is let in a goal because that is heartbreaking because it's not like there's a second place, there's not a third place, there's not a fourth place. It's either first or that's it. So I think a lot of nerves played into that, and a lot of defensive minded play styles were executed through Sam.
Yeah, and I mean, you touched on it a little bit with Carl, and it's realistically it's win or don't play RLCS till January, right? I mean, that's still, we got or the cash cups, but that's not
unless you're somehow in FIFA E. That's why but I doubt any LCQ players are FIFA E players.
Maybe Raise Bull
and would be Itachi.
Yeah, Raise Bull for Chile. I don't know that. I think it's just Furia for Brazil. So I think that I think that's it. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Godfidence is an
win-
all Brazilian team, but yeah, I'm with you.
Win or Cancun on 3.
Although, yeah, okay. But so like, moving back from the tournament a little bit. Corinthians, Raise Bull's back on land. Kinda. I'm gonna say that he's back on land, even though he hasn't like technically fully made it. But kind of funny to me that he leaves NA, leaves Complexity, and outperforms Complexity. We'll talk about that a little bit. It's a little bit of spoilers for NA, but how do you think Corinthians fare on LAN in Lyon? Their first round matchup in the LCQ will be against Gen G Mobile One.
I definitely think they by far, not even close, have the most favorable bracket compared to the other 15 teams. Right, it's 15 or it's 16 total, or now there's 4 extra. No, because I see it's really confusing with the with the LCQ.
There's 20 teams total that are going. However, 4 of them will be eliminated before the tournament starts.
Yeah, my brain was thinking about EWC still because I did the bracket today, so I was thinking about that. I think you said they got Gen G round 1. That's not a horrible matchup, and if they play like they did in Raleigh, they have really good odds winning this. Gen G, they went down to they lost a Team Secret, didn't they? Or was that Ultimates? They lost Team Secret. That's the Sam number 2 seed.
Ultimates. I'm sorry.
All right, that's what I was thinking of. So as we can see, Sam is more than capable of taking down NA's best team because I think it's pretty obvious. Ultimates is definitely better than Gen G.
Gen G lose to NRG, Dignitas, and then Twisted Minds.
That was their
They got 0-3'd by NRG. They got 1-3'd by Dig, and they got 0-3'd by Twisted.
I forgot about that. That's a horrible draw. So again, see, this stuff is really hard to do because, like, obviously you got to beat the best teams, but like you're going against the best team. So like, how harshly do you hold this to them? I do think Corinthians have a chance. Obviously, the Bull has more experience than anything. I will say, pat on the back. Corinthians was my pick last week to win this whole thing because obviously the Bull, I think he just is just better than everyone that isn't the 1 or 2 seed. So obviously going against everyone else, they, like as you saw in the grand finals, I think they won 4-1 in the finals. They made light work of Godfidence. 4-2. I think they have a great chance, especially getting Gen G in that. If they win, they play the winner of the other bracket, right?
Of ROC and Foot. So most likely it's ROC. Most likely. Crazier things have happened, so and you never know. But
Foot did make a name for themselves. I want to see Foot get a win. They're making a name for himself, but I think they have a pretty good chance. Is it if they lose, they're out?
No, they go down. It's
a lower bracket.
Double Elim. Yep.
All right, so, double Elim. I gotta remember these things because again, going EWC and
so it's technically an 8-team bracket, double Elim. So if you win 2, you're qualified. You're through. Top 16 Lyon. If you lose 2, you're out. You could win 1, lose 1, win 1, and still make it. Doesn't matter the order. Just you have to win 2 before you lose 2.
It's a Swiss with 2 instead of 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they have a pretty solid chance. I do think Gen G will take the win. At least I hope for NA's sake. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting, and I think regardless, that matchup is going to be good because it's really going to test NA. Because I think it's really a toss-up between ROC and I really don't know who I'd give the best LCQ team that like qualify through LCQs to. Obviously, we don't know who he uses, and most likely, if it is Gentlemates, it's not going to be close who the best one is. But out of the 3, I really think it could be a toss-up between the 3.
Yeah. So it will be very interesting to see what happens in this play-in bracket, and we'll talk about this more next week once we know the EU team that is going to be the final LCQ team. But I am very intrigued to see if playing in the LCQ actually helps any of these teams, right? Like Gen G's a round 5 merchant. Maybe if they go into day 1 of Swiss, if they make a top 16 and they're like, shit, it's already like we're already playing with house money, right? Like we got nothing to lose. Maybe they just pop off. Maybe they don't. Maybe that's too much Rocket League. I don't know. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens with that. But nonetheless, congratulations to Corinthians on partially making LAN, at least making it to Worlds.
They qualify. They're getting a free flight to Leon's.
Oh yeah, even though Leaf already gave us the script, so I kind of unfortunate.
As we can, they're definitely not going to be winning it, regardless of the script. But I mean, unless maybe Corinthians get some financial backing and they can pay the script writers.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe they could pay for a Brazil LAN. That would be crazy.
It would.
But time to jump over to NA now. I'm sure that a lot of the viewers will be a lot more familiar with everything that was going on. With all the with the main broadcast happening, with all the watch parties happening, but our teams that made the top 8 through the upper bracket are Complexity, Pirates on a Boat, Shopify Rebellion, and NPL. And through the lower brackets, we have Carl, 100x35, The Boys, and Papega Shake. So let's talk through some of these teams. Notably, you have, NPL, which is Lion Blaze Panda Knight. You've seen some of those players around before. Lion Blaze, most notably with Ghost. The Boys, which is Aqua Evo Hoxer. Pirates on a Boat, Andy Eris Mech, which you talked about earlier. Papega Shake, which is Parth, Crispy, and Zanil. Parth, formerly of Shopify Rebellion, gets to watch his buddy two piece go to Leon. We have Carl, which is Calm, 5up, Talk, and Coach Lawler. That is an acronym of their first names, not their gamer tags. Gas, which people are familiar with. 100x30, which is Expert Devo Matt. Matt is formerly Daunt. He changed his name, so I'm sure we've heard the name Daunt before, but Matt is a new one because it is just the same person with a different name. And I kind of exactly who we expected to make it made it. I think Carl losing to NPL in group stages was one of the bigger shocks to me. I thought that this Carl roster of Com 5up Talk was one of the better ones in the tournament, but nonetheless, here we are. Notably, Little Step Bros, one game away from top 8 again, and just missed out losing to Carl in game 5. It wasn't necessarily a very close game 4 or game 5, but they certainly had him on the ropes. Carl had to reverse sweep Little Step Bros to make it in. But who kind of surprised you heading into the playoffs from this, from our top 16?
Yeah, I will. Carl was obviously my pick to win it, just because purely I like that 4. It's a new 4, and they seemed interesting, and like they'd be a fun team to watch. But the surprise to me is how bad their offense was. That was a horrible execution on offense. A lot of crossbars. When they were on, they were putting up 20 goals or like 10 goals, and then when they're off, 1 goal. They had to win the low goal games, and fortunately, defense did not. Or the defense, it's just so hard to judge them. This is the first time all obviously playing together, so in my opinion, it was a bad surprise. A good surprise, NPL and 100x35. Those teams, not what I was expecting from them, and they made it way deeper into the run than I thought. And by God, they were insane. Them, and honestly, Poab too, losing. Who'd they lose? 5up. They lost 5up and Cream.
Well, it was like the original Cream, Hockey, and Wavy. Poab was Andy Eris 5up. They 5up joined Carl, and Pirates on a Boat picked up Mech, which seemed to do pretty well for them. We'll talk about that here in a second, but those two teams, NPL and 100x35, were by far the biggest surprises. They went on an insane run and were taking down teams that I didn't even think possible. I'm trying to
think. Oh, never mind. We'll get that later. Who took down Complexity is a surprise, but yeah, those two teams definitely my big surprise.
So lower bracket round 1, Carl takes down 100x30 4-2. The boys sweep Papega Shake. Excuse me. And then in the upper bracket quarterfinals, Complexity sweeps Pirates on a Boat and Shopify sweeps NPL. Pretty much what we expected, of Complexity and Shopify. These are two org-backed teams. These are two teams that were fighting, tooth and nail for a top 4 spot. Complexity a little bit less so, but people have never really, doubted the talent with Shopify. But that moves us into a lower bracket quarterfinal where Pirates on a Boat take down Carl 4-2 to delete them from the tournament, and we have the boys taking down NPL in Game 7 overtime to move into the semifinals. We have Shopify taking down Pirates on a Boat 4-2, and we have Complexity losing to the boys 4-2, which set up a grand finals of Shopify Rebellion and the boys, in which Shopify was able to win 4-1. A pretty dominant performance from Shopify, only dropping 3 games total in their run to NA LCQ champions and a spot in Lyon. What are your thoughts, coming out of playoffs about any of the players, any of the teams that we saw in playoffs?
I think Mech made a good name for him. The fact that Mech has 14 and making and looking as good as he did on the field was insane. I think Mech has a great future. I think there's if he's not on an org next season, I don't know what NA's doing, because I think that's one of the easiest signings to be a great contributor to a contending team. Because like I said, he's only 14. This is the floor for him. It only goes up from here. So assuming a team that's I'm trying to think like what team could use him or how, but luckily for me, it's not my decision to make. I don't have to sign contracts or anything. But I think players like him, I want to say Hoxer, but Hoxer's never had a good shake outside of like last season with SSG, and even then they got some unlucky shakes. So it's good to see him playing as well as he did and taking a team in the boys who was always a fan favorite in all of the opens all the way to the finals. And unfortunately, they didn't look too great against Shop. But yeah, I think those two were very, very, very solid. And outside of that, Shopify being great. It always seemed like they were never going to get over that hump. But as we talked about before, that hump was going against NRG, going against Gen G, going against all these top teams. Now that it's just them, it really seemed like it was going to be them and Complexity going down as early as they did. It opened the doors wide open for Shopify to finally win something.
Yeah. So first and foremost, it's his alternate name, but he has gone by it. Mech's alternate ID is Mechanical Red.
I just noticed that on Twitter. It's his Twitter name, I think.
Yeah, it's also on his Wikipedia page. Why is everybody Red? Why does Red just get favorite players that are the same name as him? That's crazy.
Everyone's just a fan of Red.
Yeah, apparently. At least he doesn't play KBM. He's an Xbox controller player, so that's at least good. But like you said, I was very impressed by Mech. I thought he had 2 of the top 10 NALCQ goals. In my personal opinion, I thought that Carl roster played very well. Man, that Poab Carl series. Talk about defensive masterclass. We talked about that a little bit earlier. 1-0, 3-0, 2-1, 1-0, 3-2, 2-1. Like, live by the defense, die by the defense. And realistically, Mech was the difference maker. Mech was the reason that Pirates on a Boat advanced to have the honor of being taken down in 6 by Shopify.
Yeah, they definitely got the business handed to him by Shopify, as we mentioned. But that matchup, pretty much this whole weekend is I was tuning in whenever Carl was playing, and I was making sure to watch their matchups, and that was a great matchup, and that is where I got to see Mech shine. Obviously, I was seeing bits and pieces from watch parties and when they were tuning into Poab, but yeah, Mech was insane. He was able to take Andy to places Andy's never seen before in the RLCS brackets, and yeah, we'll see if Hoxer's going to be able to do such a thing at Baylor. I think they have a pretty solid chance at doing some insane things. But yeah, Mech took Poab to new heights, and like I said, Mech's going to be a contributor next season for sure, in my opinion.
So I have a question for you.
Mhm.
That really throws me off. The boys. That roster is Aqua, Evo, Hoxer. Do you know who the oldest player on that roster is?
Hoxer?
It is Hoxer. Hoxer is 23. Do you know who is the second oldest on that roster?
What are the names again? Run them back to me.
That was Hoxer, Aqua, and Evo.
There's got to be. There's a new Evo. I don't know. It's got to be that Evo.
It is the same Evo. You are correct. Evo is older by 5 months. They are both 18.
Not the boys no more.
So
Just kidding.
Aqua came into RLCS in 2021. He played for Rogue, Koi, the Muffin Men, very briefly for NRG as the sub. Hey Bro, KC Pioneers, and now with the boys. So Aqua was once upon a time, I believe, coming the same. He played with Daniel. They were both considered to be, the next thing, and it just hasn't materialized for Aqua. I think a lot of people thought Aqua was a lot older than that. I certainly am included in that, but I thought all this to say that I thought Aqua and Evo both had a good showing for the boys. Obviously they took down Complexity. Again, I have no idea what's going on with Complexity, but I thought that they looked good. Slater's back on LAN. It seems like, maybe we have to eat a little bit of crow on this one, but the Justin for Reddles swap seems to be kind of a win-win for both teams, right? I don't think we thought it was going to be anything. I thought that they were both kind of moving in reverse, but apparently they kind of just, everyone needed a change of scenery, and they're both able to, perform better than they were, which is kind of crazy to me. But really, in my eyes, the biggest story, another Sunday, another Complexity collapse. Like, they did not look good against the boys, but they looked phenomenal against Pirates on a Boat. I feel like the drop off from Pirates on a Boat the drop off from the boys to Pirates on a Boat is not that big. But man, they certainly showed like it was.
Yeah, it was a huge surprise. I think everyone, or maybe like 80% of brackets, had Complexity versus Shopify in the finals, and it looked like it was shaping up to be that, with them both making top fours on opposite sides, being both high seeds. But yeah, then the complete collapse, it didn't even seem like it was real until it was finally over. It seemed like Complexity was still fighting and trying to scrap their ways back into this, but as time kept dwindling, a goal after a goal, I think they went down. It was a 1-goal game, or maybe 2-goal in the last couple seconds. It seemed like they were going to do something, and then they were just overcommitting, and fast breaks added up, and the boys took, I think, a 2 or 3 goal lead to end the series in Game 6. And yeah, I don't know what it is. The Frosty edition, SSG either knew what they were doing, or maybe Rice Bowl was really just a hard carry for them. Ever since the Bull left, it's been downhill. Frosty's just not been the answer for them. So I don't know what the move is for them, or if they can keep trying to build off of this. But yeah, it seems like Complexity is going to be, I feel like they have to come in with a new identity, maybe a whole new roster, or at least 2/3 gone coming in next season.
If they even keep their roster at all, which is rather unfortunate for them. But I would tend to agree with you. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with Complexity, especially, considering how much that they underperformed, what their expectations were. And you lose Raise Bull, and Raise Bull out qualifies you with, arguably a worse team. So that's got to be rough for them. But
I do think also the competition for Sam was significantly less than NA. Not that it was too far, but like it was definitely a gap. So I honestly think if Complexity took their talents to Sam, they probably would have had a even better chance. I mean, they had such a good chance here, so it's really hard to judge it off that because they probably should have won the whole thing, being how good they are and how experienced all of them are. But they come up short, not even making to the grand finals. But it is a huge bracket, so it's a lot of Rocket League. It's hard to keep stacking that many wins in a row. Someone has to do it, and it wasn't them. But I do think they still could have had a better chance than Sam.
Yeah, that's a good one from This Is Up TM in chat. He said that the Falcons curse has been transferred.
They the weight is off their shoulders and now placed upon Complexity.
Yeah. But with that, let's jump over to our last LCQ region, and that is EU. So we now know the teams that have made the top 16. And from Group A, that is German Amigos, Gentle Mates, Tokyo Tigers, Hogan Mode, a Scrub Killer, less Hogan Mode, 2 Danes, 1 Bruv, Pirates 3. I'd also like to mention that this has Motion. One of the players on Pirates 3 is Motion, a former Young Money Clan player, fresh off of his 1-year ban from RLCS, straight into LCQ. We have Team 123. We have Team TSK. And from Group B, we have Ninjas in Pajamas, Team BSK, Red Devils, Chippy Chips, Caliente, Team BDS, Sick, and Low Block. So a lot of heavy hitters here. We definitely see BDS in here, even though BDS BDS squeaks in at 3-2 in round 5, even though they did get a sweep. I don't really expect a ton from BDS. But our 3-0 teams are German Hermanos, Gentle Mates Alpine, Ninjas in Pajamas, and Team BSK. So some impressive performances. German Hermanos is Rizex, Even, and Rixie. NIP is still the same. Gentle Mates is still the same. Team BSK is Rusty's, Mozzarella, and Pisky. Those are, at least in my opinion, kind of your top 4 teams to look out for. I think maybe someone like a Tokyo Tigers with Cash or a Hogan Mode with a Chronic Resi Growly could make a run. But I am maybe even like a Red Devils, which is Rise Fox, Astro Compact. But, other than that, I kind of really think it's like Ninjas in Pajamas or Gentle Mates specifically to lose. What do you think?
I mean, you're being very generous to Ninjas in Pajamas. I think the only signing that is going...
It's not Sunday yet. I can be generous.
Yeah. I think the only signing that has been worse for a team than Frosty will be forever Rado, as we can see by how Gentlemates went, and as we will see by how Ninjas in Pajamas performs, because Rado is just not the answer to anything. Can he prove me wrong? Possibly. Is it likely?
Probably not.
No. No. I think it's far ahead Gentlemates' chance to, or Gentlemates' race to lose. And I think I want to see BDS somehow win this. I want to see BDS somehow make it to the world stage. With what's the young player's name? Why can't I think of it?
Mitzer, Nico,
Nico. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I want to see them make it. I want to see Nico make a run, do something crazy for BDS, because obviously they are the inevitable demon, as they took away 2 world championships from NA. But it was a different team. Nico's a completely different person than Monkey Moon. It's less painful, and obviously much less likely for them to rip away an NA World Championship.
He's also Danish and not French, so that's a big win there.
That's a huge win. Not French players coming to destroy us. But yeah, I mean, Hogan Mode's even been playing pretty solid for what it's worth.
Yes, they have. Going 3-1, only losing to German Hermanos, who were the Group A1 seed. One thing I would like to say, Cristobal Colon, the all-Spanish team we've seen compete in SSA for the entire season, went 1-3, and their only win came in Game 5 against Nonchalant, who was the 16 seed in Group A. So, and Nonchalant was Ray, Skyrix, and Monkey Mode. So, take that for what it's worth as a team from SSA trying to make their way in LCQ, and they did not have any success whatsoever. But, you know, BSK looked good. Rusty's continues to impress. KDOP misses the top 16 by 1 game. Unfortunate for KDOP, as Drop Shot is the team that he was playing with. They lose in Game 5 to Team TSK, which is Thider, Scream, and Yukio, making his reappearance in EU Rocket League. But like, realistically, I think it's Mate's event to lose. What do you think?
Sorry, repeat the last part.
I said I think it's Gentle Mate's event to lose.
Yeah, not even close. I think it's Gentle Mates, beep, Ninjas in Pajamas, beep, everyone else. I think they're far, especially because they made it out of Swiss stage in Raleigh. So obviously they are talent-wise far ahead of everyone else. So this would be an even bigger upset than Complexity losing, and if Shopify was to lose.
Yeah. I almost feel like I take Team BSK over Ninjas. I mean, I am a really big Oski fan. I think Nas is a phenomenal player. I know Itachi retired, or is retire in the process of retiring, but man, we saw what Radosin did to Gentlemates, committing atrocities against Gentlemates and France. But I don't believe in Rado, and I don't believe in Ninjas past Saturday. I just feel like when the lights get bright, they disappear. So I feel like it's gotta be Mates.
Gentlemates went from not even making an EU main event for opens to winning in the Swiss stage and making it to a LAN in Raleigh. So I think it's a night and day difference not having Rado on the team. I think I would love to see Itachi still play, at least finish out the LCQ if he's going to retire. I like, obviously it's his choice to do whatever he wants. I don't know why he waited until now, right before the LCQ. I feel like if there's one last chance, even just have a retirement tour, dude. Just go for it. It's just a couple of games of Rocket League. What's the worst case scenario? You got a free trip to Leon's.
I mean, also Mates made a top 8 in Raleigh. I just would like to point that out. Only beating Foot, Space Station, and Ultimates. Only losing to NRG. Man, they really just did the NA tour. That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. They went from not even making main events in opens to making it to a LAN. It's a night and day difference having Rado off the team, unfortunately for Rado. But I think they're really missing out on Hitachi not just playing out this one thing, but obviously it's his choice to make. You can't really force him into playing a video game if he doesn't want to.
True. It seemed like it was his decision though, so at least from that aspect, I think that's good, in my opinion at least. I wouldn't have wanted him to be forced out, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think if they were forcing him out for Rado, that'd be an even bigger problem.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you, but
the only way I'll accept it is if Rado comes out with the Merc in honor of Itachi's final games. He was using the Merc there for a little bit in the EU Opens.
That would be crazy. The Roadhog? Roadhog XL?
Oh, is that what it was he was using? I thought it was the Merc.
Roadhog XL.
It was the Roadhog. Someone was using the Merc, I think, but I remember he's using a big boxy truck. Wrong one.
Oh. Okay. Sorry, I am trying to load up for our next segment here. Due to high traffic, I can't make a copy of the
Bracket?
Yeah. Let's see if I can just do it. If I can just do it from the Google Sheets homepage. We'll have to wait and see if it loads and does that. But it seems like Google Sheets is having a rough time. Let's oh, well, I mean, it lets me open it, but I can't edit it or like make a copy of it or anything like that, which is rather unfortunate. I don't think there's a hotkey for making a copy of a Google Sheet, which is what I would need to do.
All right, I got this. Let me cook.
Okay.
Let me cook. I have no idea what I'm doing.
That's fair. I mean, we can also always just do this next week as well.
That is fair. That is fair. I thought I have to log into Twitter, man. I'm not even logged in on this computer yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it looks fine, but I can't edit anything. I can't do anything, and it's not going to let me do any of the prediction stuff. So I think that we're going to have to I think we might have to push this one just due to website traffic, which is kind of unfortunate.
We still got another week. It'll EWC will be, EWC be a little bit more I mean, it's pretty topical right now with the whole I mean, we could talk about that and then do the bracket next week. We just talk about the matchups.
Yeah, let's do that. That's a fantastic
OP
idea.
Groups are, how unfair Group C is.
So,
dude, ultimates are. Sorry, I've had him. You continue. My bad.
You're good. Yeah. So, for people who are unaware, the groups were just released for EWC, and it's a bit of a doozy. So first and foremost, in Group A, we have NRG, Foot, Carmine Core, and Virtus Pro. In Group B, we have Dignitas, Wildcard, and Secret and Gen G. In Group C, we have Falcons, GK, and Furia and Ultimates. And in Group D, we have Vitality, Space Station, Twisted Minds, and TSM. My lord, if there ever was a group of death, it is Group C, Group of Death. I agree wholeheartedly with what everyone has been saying. I think that Group A has been set up for NRG Carmine to make it out pretty easily, if I must say so myself. But I'm intrigued with Group D. You know, Space Station, I think Vitality is almost a lock to kind of make it out. But
I'm not intrigued at all.
Oh yeah, why?
I'm actually the opposite of intrigued, because we're about to get murdered by EU demigods and twisted minds. You just reverse swept Carmine Corp. I am terrified. SSG is going from a horrible performance to trying to bounce back to being set up for failure. I mean, obviously, Ultimates have it far worse. Debatably, it's really questionable whose peak is better, because Vitality and Twisted is a crazy duo compared to Fury of Falcons.
Yeah, no, Group C by far is the most outrageous group I've ever seen.
But I think GK rounds it out so well that it just makes it so unfair. Like, these are 4 really good or great teams.
4 top 8 teams.
Maybe not Ultimates. They can't make it out of LAN.
Well, they're runners up. They were runners up this year.
Runners up to LAN. That's what they were. Runners up to LAN.
No. In Birmingham.
Yeah, no. I was just talking about them coming up.
But yeah, no, it's chalk.
See, you know what this makes me think of? Last season, FIFA E, First Killer was going to get the opportunity to play with Atomic and Daniel. And that was going to be our opportunity to see him play with by far the best teammates he'll have ever played with. And it crumbled.
And he wussed out.
He did?
It had to have been, because Atomic and Daniel played with Nas in EWC last year. No problems.
I genuinely don't know what like I don't even how there's like not even like a rumor of like what happened or like why that was going to be his best chance to like see like, hey, it's not me, I'm not the problem, we're about to go kill it. And they did insane with Nas. So like for what they could have done even better things with First Killer, because he's still such a great player, but that was his best chance to have like
That was his best opportunity to win an international tournament, which he
something.
still hasn't done.
Yeah, and like I don't know what happened that fell through, but again, this is completely different because we're not going to, but the record books aren't going to show that because he's just getting such unfortunate draws. But unfortunately, history doesn't care about that. They only care about the numbers. They only care about the results, and the results are going to be another time coming up short because. Obviously, I think Ultimates are. You could argue that they're the second best team here, but they're going to have to beat some notable opponents to make it out of this. And that's usually where they come up short is the big moments. So I think if they can make it out of this, that would be by far the most huge thing for them in terms of confidence. Because obviously, if they lose this, it's going to be a spiral going into Worlds. I just feel so terrible for Ultimates. Feel so terrible for First Killer. I think he's just cursed, and it's I don't whatever happened at FIFA E. If it was on him, such a huge mistake. If it was just
for shame, if it was,
it could have just been an unfortunate circumstance where something happened and it blew the whole thing up. That's out of his control, but like he needed that so bad for his legacy, for him as a player, for him to prove himself. I just want to know like what would have happened because obviously we see how they perform with Beast Mode. What would have happened? We saw how they perform with Nas. That would have been those two. Maybe the moment was too big, knowing if he didn't do too good, they would have known he was the problem. But I still to this day want to know what would have happened if he played at FIFA E, and this Group C is just not going to help his case at all.
Yeah, I mean, but what does this Group C do to LeBron's legacy though? That's the real question.
He's still the GOAT. Nothing will change that. Michael Jordan's a fraud. He's a gambling addict.
Whoa. That's a different can of worms for a different day, though, I think.
You cannot deny that man was not a gambling addict.
Oh, he definitely was.
You can argue who's the GOAT. You can't argue gambling addict.
This is very, very true.
There's two huge gambling addicts. There is Michael Jordan in Anything Ever and Red with Prize Picks in Raleigh.
Yeah.
That man loved his Prize Picks.
He did indeed. But you know, with that, we'll save the rest of the EWC conversation for next time. I
got one question.
Yeah.
How many NA teams do you think make it out of this?
Out of brackets?
Yes.
I think NA. I think NRG is almost a lock out of Group A.
If they don't make it out, that would be so bad for the NA brand.
Oh my god. I don't think Ultimates make it out of Group C. I don't think they do.
It's not a crazy thing to say. Any of the other three teams can make it out.
I could see a world where Gen G and Space Station make it, but realistically I say only 2 NA teams are getting in.
All right, I'm assuming you're saying Gen G, NRG?
Yes.
I'm not. Even as an SSG guy, with how they performed in Raleigh, I don't think they turn it around against Vitality or Twisted Minds. Because they'd have to beat both of them to make it out of this.
And you have to remember, too, it's Twisted Minds in front of a more or less home crowd for Nubo and for Twisted. But, the way that I'm thinking about it, right? Dignitas looked awesome in Raleigh, right? Until they didn't. Because Falcons looked amazing. Secret looked awesome. Gen G didn't make crowd days. But, Wildcard looked awful. TSM, also awful. So, realistically for Group B, I'm thinking it's a 3-horse race. I think Dignitas is in, so that leaves Secret and Gen G fighting for that second spot. Similarly, in Group D, I think Vitality are in, TSM is not going to do much, and I think Space Station and Twisted are kind of fighting for that second spot as well.
Giving away the bracket.
Yeah.
That's why I just want from what happened in Raleigh and going from the highest highs to NA to the lowest lows for NA, I think the lows are just going to continue because this setup is insane. I don't know what's going to happen, but all I know is it's going to be a bloodbath for probably NA, and it's going to be a wake-up call for some regions.
It certainly will. But is there anything else that you wanted to add about any of the LCQ stuff that we've talked about? I mean, obviously, we're going to talk a lot more about EWC next week and the following week after the tournament is over. So, the next 2 weeks are probably going to be pretty EWC heavy. We're trying to get Leaf in for an interview. It might have to be after EWC because he will be there casting or hosting, so good for him. And I'm excited to kind of see that as well as the rest of the Rocket League. But anything else you want to add about anything we talked about or anything else going on?
SSG, please save me. Please give us something. Just beat Vitality. Why not? Screw it. Beat Vitality, beat Twisted. Go on to win the whole thing.
That would be awesome to see.
Just make it out of the group. That's all I need. If they don't get stomped out in the group, actually, we'll keep moving the goalposts. We'll keep widening the goalposts for them. Just don't get stomped out. I feel like Vitality, my bracket, spoiler for my bracket, I have them getting 3-0 swept by Vitality. Vitality against NA is just unfair, and SSG with how they performed, I don't think they're even going to have a lick of confidence. Twisted, it may be a game.
Well,
if they don't beat TSM, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah. Well, just like everybody else, we'll have to wait the next week and a half until this event starts. Again, like I said, we'll talk about it more next week. But with that, I think we're ready to wrap up today's episode. We'd like to thank you all so much for listening. Remind you that this podcast is proudly brought to you by our name level supporters on Patreon, Alyssa B. Please remember to rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to podcasts, share the show, tell a friend. It all helps us grow our audience and improve the show. Remember to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, Twitch, which we're currently live streaming on right now. And come join our Discord. Come talk some ball. Come talk some shop. We've enjoyed the few people that have joined recently that have been talking ball with us. Never a dull moment. Please make sure to support us by checking out our merch store and our Patreon. This is how we fund the show and do giveaways in the future. All of these links and more can be found on our website at boostoverball.com. And from us here on the show, as always, remember to choose Boost over Ball. See ya!
Thanks for listening to the Boost Over Ball podcast. Make sure to check out our website at boostoverball.com.